appears facing increasing heat ahead of the next general elections, or is that not the case? We take that question to our guest in just a bit, but let me first take you through the drama that unfolded all through yesterday and today, a period of about 24 hours and more where the Chief Minister was declared untraceable and nobody had really seen him. The officials couldn't find much from his staff in Delhi or Ranchi either. So January 26 is when Jharkhand CM Hemant Soren is believed to have arrived in Delhi. Then on 27, ED summons Soren in the money laundering case. Cut to January 29. Soren tells the ED that he will record a statement on January 31st. The ED team lands up at the Chief Minister's Delhi house, but finds that Soren is missing. They land up when they realize that all this while, Hemant Soren was actually in Delhi. Now, ED then carries out searches as well on the basis of fresh inputs. The BJP claims that CM has left for Ranchi via road. The JIM alleges that BJP is using ED for political agenda. All of this is going on even as through the night, through the evening and today early morning, we hadn't seen the Chief Minister or heard from him. Now, cut to January 30 finally. The ED earlier today revealed that they have seized as much as 36 lakh rupees, 2 BMWs and some documents from the Chief Minister's Delhi house. This is as per the agency. Meanwhile, Section 144 was imposed near the Chief Minister's house, Raj Bhavan and the Ranchi ED office. Back home, Hemant Soren then finally surfaces after a day-long interval in Ranchi. The first visuals of his back home. He chairs a meeting in Ranchi at Ranchi House. His wife is also present. This brings fresh twist or credence to the BJP's claims. They've been claiming that Soren is going to transfer power to wife before he is making his way to the ED, because remember, even as all of this is going on, there is a massive suspicion that the Chief Minister could be arrested anytime soon. Now, who is Kalpana Soren? Let me just break that down for you, because this individual could become extremely important. Some are saying that Soren could follow the Lalu Prasad Yadav model from Bihar. So who is Kalpana Soren? Hemant Soren's wife. She also hails from Mayurbhanj district of Odisha. She belongs to the Santali Adivasi community, runs a private school and is a businesswoman in her own right. Now, Kalpana's father was a captain in the Indian Army. So that's her pedigree and lineage. But here's where it gets interesting. Why Kalpana is also key as far as this story is concerned, because one, the BJP believes that Hemant Soren is going to transfer power within family. Also, they have accused Soren of misusing his power as a Chief Minister to allot a plot to his wife's business. Kalpana, the BJP claims, has reportedly been allotted 11 acres of land which was originally meant for tribal. So it's not like she is without controversy. During the reign or the term of her husband, there have been allegations that have been levelled against both. Now, the interesting bit is, if you look at what is happening with Soren in the larger context, this is happening just ahead of the next general elections. You've seen Nitish Kumar making a palti in Bihar. You've seen Mamata Banerjee ditching the Congress as far as the state level alliance is concerned. And many were saying, watch out for Jharkhand. He's not the only one, Hemant Soren, who's facing the ED or the CBI heat though. And this heat seems to be increasing on many opposition leaders. Is that a coincidence? Or is this because we are reaching a crescendo of sorts before the 2024 elections is the big question. So first up, of course, Hemant Soren alleged in the land scam case. He has had 10 summons issued against him. Finally, we are being told that on January 31, his questioning is going to take place. It's been a long time coming. Meanwhile, in Bihar, Lalu and Tejashwi Yadav, part of the opposition today, also accused in this alleged land for job scam. They have been questioned just yesterday in the national capital. Arvind Kejriwal, alleged liquor policy scam where the Delhi Chief Minister is facing heat. He skipped as many as 4 summons, and it's anybody's guess really what happens next. He was said to be following the Hemant Soren model of skipping the summons, questioning the validity of the summons and so on. It seems Hemant Soren is finally relenting. What about Arvind Kejriwal is the question. Congress party, Bhupinder Hooda, alleged Manesar land scam that is continuing to haunt him. Now the ED has recorded a statement of his just yesterday. Rohit Pawar, Another opposition leader, the Maharashtra State Cooperative Bank scam is what he's being investigated in, and he was questioned just last week as well. And these are just some of the more prominent names of the opposition facing questioning, summons, or some heightened heat. And generally there's an atmosphere that something could happen. Now, is this because there is heightened agency action happening just in time for the 2024 elections? That's the big question I'll take forward with our guest joining us in just a bit.
महात्मा गांधी जी के विचार हम सब मिलकर उनके पद पर चलने का संकल्प करते हैं।
Apart from the 36 lakh rupees cash that has been recovered from his home, 2 BMW vehicles have been recovered. Now there are a lot of questions that needs to be answered by Hemant Soren at this point in time.
एक चुनी हुई सरकार, एक चुने हुए मुख्यमंत्री को इस तरह प्रताड़ित करना, खुद ईडी ने डेडलाइन दिया था 31 तारीख तक का, तब 29 तारीख को ये कार्रवाई की।
Mr. Modi and Amit Shah are misusing the ED. Very unfortunate to hear these things, that a tribal chief minister from the opposition parties had been insulted the way, misusing the ED and others.
भाई देखिए, ये तो चल ही रहा है पूरे देश में। सभी जो बीजेपी के नीतियों का विरोध कर रहे हैं, सभी विपक्षी नेताओं को परेशान किया जा रहा है।
संवैधानिक पद पर बैठ करके संवैधानिक मर्यादा और कानून को तोड़ने का काम करेंगे तो स्वाभाविक है कि आपकी गाड़ी जब्त की जा सकती है।
Okay, let's go across to our guest joining us, Anuja Kapoor, spokesperson of the BJP, Dolly Sharma from the Congress Party, Professor D.K. Giri is political analyst also with us, and Shekhar Iyer, senior journalist joining us. Dolly Sharma, let me begin with you first up, because the charge is coming from the joint opposition today that just because Hemant Soren is being chased or is being called for investigation, there is something going wrong, and that this is once again some sort of vendetta against the opposition leaders. But let's not forget, this is a case that was first registered at the municipal level in Jharkhand, and it is only progressing. Hemant Soren hasn't really covered himself in glory by not turning up for as many as 10 ED summons. So, not sure how his case is fit as some sort of a vendetta case.
You know, these days BJP is working as as a filmmaker works. As they have a script that they prepare, like they've done earlier also with many other leaders, opposition leaders of this country. They've been doing this continuously, looking at the Lok Sabha elections coming. And they've been doing it from the past also. The main aim of the BJP is to destabilize the governments, the state governments. They've done this in Maharashtra, they've done this in Karnataka, they've done this recently in Bihar. So that is what they're doing. This is how BJP actually works.
So are you saying that this is to put...
Yatra is working.
No, once again, in Bihar, it's not as if Nitish Kumar, who goes back to the NDA, was facing any cases or any summons. But are you suggesting that Hemant Soren is facing this increased pressure because of the 2024 elections and because some sort of pressure is being put on him to switch?
Every time the main aim of the BJP during the elections, whether it is the state elections coming or the Lok Sabha that is coming now 2024, every time BJP and the extended departments of the BJP starts functioning in the same way, the way they are doing now with Hemant Soren. This is totally the murder of democracy. You've given him the time. He's the chief minister of the state. Let him answer. This is not the way to go with so many soldiers like he is a terrorist.
Okay, let me take that point to Dolly.
हमारे लोग मारे जा रहे हैं, हमारे सैनिक मारे जा रहे हैं, वहाँ तो आप कुछ कर नहीं रहे हैं. आप चुने हुए मुख्यमंत्रियों के पास इतने सारे सोल्जर्स लेके जा रहे हैं as if he's a terrorist. He will present himself in front of the ED. He's already given his statements to the ED earlier also. So
No,
but
so this
not
is
the
why
way
I
to
began
work,
by
as if
saying,
the
one second,
dictatorship
Dolly.
is working in this country.
I get some of what you're saying and I'll take that to Anuja. But this is why I began by asking you, in Hemant Soren's case, he hasn't turned up for 9 previous summons. So in his case, you cannot say that the ED was to finally land up at his doorstep. The ED is wrong. That's the limited point I made. But Anuja, why is it that in state after state, ahead of elections, state or otherwise, there is such heightened activity by the agencies? It cannot be a coincidence anymore. This has happened in Maharashtra. This has happened in Karnataka recently. It has happened in Jharkhand. And of course, the general elections are, right around the corner.
Good evening to you, Shivani, and to my panelist and Jai Shri Ram. Now, the Congress, who is in a greater hue and cry, forgets Indira Gandhi's time, who has dismissed the elected state governments 50 times. Congress troubled every regional leader. The time when Indira Gandhi had imposed Article 356, I think this Congress panelist has forgotten that. So who is the one who is doing it? It is not the BJP. BJP was not there in 1992, 1996, 2013. Lalu Prasad, border scam. It was you who brought up. We never came in between. We were never the ones. It is you who have been doing it. And in your own era, brought up your ED and CBI, which was a caged parrot against your own government. Many people, Congress leaders, were being caught up. So you have to think and you have to figure it out. What goes around comes around. This is the phrase for you people. You are the ones who are corrupt. We are not. We are the people who are with zero tolerance. Now, the situation which is coming up, it is being there.
The Home Minister of this country. Did I speak in between of you? This is what we've been watching.
Speak, Dolly?
What are you talking?
Okay, one by one. Dolly, I'll give you time. Just wait.
Becoming a Home Minister of this country. You are here to speak.
One second. Let's not bring that into this. It's not really adding up to this debate. But Dolly, just hold on.
Ask her to speak on the question that you have asked.
Dolly, just hold on. Let me have this conversation with Anuja. Don't speak over each other because then it will encourage both of you to do so. I don't want to do that. But Anuja, you look at the pattern that is emerging. You could argue the Congress did worse when it was in power and unchallenged, and it didn't really face that kind of opposition. But by that logic, the BJP will also be blamed for doing the same. Today, the opposition is pretty weak and the BJP is supreme. And it seems like just as elections approach, and look at the pattern, it has happened in Maharashtra, as I said, it has happened in Karnataka. You look at Lalu Prasad Yadav case in Bihar, you look at cases in Maharashtra, you look at the cases in Delhi, you look at the cases against Hemant Soren in Jharkhand, you look at Bhupinder Hooda in Haryana. Suddenly, the agencies are waking up. One of the criticisms of the BJP's 10-year term has been that actually no case has come to conclusion. It's just,
I don't know why
it's
Shivani,
just for eyeballs. That's from here. Sometimes here, sometimes there. The raids happen, then the summons happen, then the questioning happens. None of these cases go to any conclusion.
You are putting it upon BJP. What has BJP to be done? BJP
you are in
MLA
power.
was also
Naturally, you
been
will
asked,
face the question.
No, I'm telling you. Listen to me, Shivani. Listen to me. BJP in Punjab also, the MLA was been a question right now. Was been given a summon from the ED and CBI. So we are not only talking about the people who are the opposition party. I want to ask to the opposition party why there is so much of hue and cry. How come BJP is involved in this? BJP has not hired CBI or ED. It is a constitutional post, and the Supreme and the courts talk about it. And the courts are the one who's asking and giving them the rights to go and do about it. It's not the BJP. The thing has to come and stand. Me being as a lawyer, I will bring up the case in front of the court only, in front of the judge. Who are the ones who are not being given the bails? Who are the ones who are being convicted? Lalu Prasad, isn't he been convicted? Isn't he the convicted person? And this Hemant Soren, look at the thing which has already has been in the open in front of everybody. Talk about Dheeraj Soran. She will not talk about Dheeraj Soran. rupees 531 crore. You are the ones who are looting the people. Now you're putting it up in front of the BJP. What credibility you have?
Okay.
You give us your credibility.
Okay,
What
I want to
you
go to
have
DK
given.
Giri.
You
One
sit in
second.
Karnataka. You talk about Karnataka, you talk about Himachal Pradesh, tell me the backdoor entry. Now you talk about EVM, the people who are backdoor entries, and they talk about democracy.
Okay,
And
one
what
second.
democracy
Hold on.
do you have?
Anuja, one second. You raised the question of credibility while they question the credibility of ED and CBI. You are right to ask the credibility of the leaders involved. Professor DK Giri, political analyst, is also joining us. I want to go across to him. You know, can you argue when you find cash up to lakhs and lakhs of rupees, you have luxury cars, you are AWOL effectively for 24 to 36 hours, you haven't turned up for 10 summons of the ED, those around you in your government and in your functionaries, you know, they are under serious charges. As head of government in Jharkhand, am I supposed to feel sympathy for Hemant Soren, or am I supposed to bat for the agencies to bring the crooked to justice?
Certainly, the agencies should do their roles, but when the selective application of authority is seen, then it worries, how the system is functioning. The BJP spokesperson, the lady said that, how do you blame BJP, and the agencies are autonomous, the courts are there, and the courts are doing it. That's a bit of simplistic analysis of the things. We know how these agencies are functioning, where they take their orders from. So, yes, what you say about Hemant Soren, I agree. If he is guilty, he should be punished. But hounding and harassing the chief minister, opposition
But
chief
how
minister,
has he
have
been hounded
saying-
and harassed? In his
Yeah,
case,
well,
he's the
he-
one who's not turning up for summons. He's not
That's
cooperative
right.
with the agencies.
Sure, Shivani. You see, the chief ministers wrote letters to the agency. They're not getting answers. It is one-sided. He has been saying that he would give his statement. I was following Kejriwal's case, and he had written several letters to ED, and there was no response. These are, we are negating. Through the authorities, you are negating the mandates of the people. They are elected people. Democracy.
But that cannot be some sort of a
electoral is
guarantee
supposed to be
or a
supreme.
shield. But Professor Giri, that cannot be
No,
a shield against
is
action on
not.
corruption. India shouldn't be seen as weak on
Absolutely.
corruption.
No, it's not. Absolutely right. I agree with you, but it should be across the board, across the parties.
Across the
Isn't
board.
it? Why? Tell me, Shivani, one case which has been framed or persecuted on behalf of the other side.
On BJP leaders, yes. That's a question Anuja will answer, but I want to go across to Shekhar Iyer also.
Then I would, as an independent analyst, I would rest my case. Let the BJP lady say if there is
Let
one
me
case.
answer you.
Okay, let
me
Anuja
you
answer
right
that.
now.
Let Anuja answer that.
Let me answer you right now. I hope, sir, do you remember that is some time back? Today is 30th. Yesterday was January 29th. And I think you remember it is a 2 times MLA from the BJP who has been in Punjab, and he has been summoned by the ED. So don't give me this crap sitting here because you have to just speak for it. We are the ones who talk about zero tolerance. No. Should I tell you? Should I tell you this? So this is already has been done. So you have to answer this question in Chandigarh. This has already been happening, and his name is Arvind Khanna. So he was an MLA, and he has already been summoned by the CBI, by the ED also. So you have to think over it once again. You
Okay.
just said,
Once again.
you just told me, give me one name. I am giving you the name. I am giving you the name. Now you talk about it.
Okay,
He
one
is a
second,
BJP
one second.
MLA, 2
Fair
times
enough,
MLA,
Anuja, fair
and
enough.
the
You
ED has
could,
done it.
Anuja, can I come in? Can I come in? I think you could make your argument as BJP that there are, even I know 4 or 5 cases that have happened in the last 12 to 18 months where BJP leaders have also faced investigations, summons, raids, etc. None of them are of the profile as some of the opposition leaders who are getting summoned or raided or named in charge sheets or called for investigations. I would just draw that distinction. It's not like there's no BJP leader who has a case.
No.
Once again, Anuja, one of our guests has not spoken. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll come back to you. Shekhar Iyer is senior journalist. Shekhar Iyer, how do you read this? Because the opposition's long time plank has been these agencies are being misused. so close to elections. You look at the way this drama has played out. You look at how Aam Aadmi Party liquor case has played out. Their ministers are in jail for months. I understand that the ED clauses are very hard. Bail is hard to come by. But they haven't been able to quash any of the charges either. The chief minister is now refusing to turn up for summons. He fears there's going to be an arrest. Is this an adequate plank for the opposition to go to the public and say, see, have sympathy with us, we are being attacked, we are not guilty? Because some of their reputations is indeed quite dodgy.
Indeed, Shivani, indeed, because, whether when it comes to getting the best of legal counsel, whether it's Hemant Soren or your Senthil Balaji in Tamil Nadu or one of the TMC ministers in Bengal, they have the best of legal counsel. But courts have been examining the evidence that has been brought forth by the investigative agencies, and there does not seem to be some kind of relief. In the case of Hemant Soren, there is a political dimension, which is he is facing a challenge within his own party. That is why you are seeing that today his wife Kalpana Soren
was there in the meeting.
What I understand is within the JMM, in case Hemant Soren is arrested by the ED in connection with this particular case, then probably there is a question of leadership struggle within the party. I believe the JMM patriarch Shibu Soren probably favors Sita Soren, who is the widow of his eldest son, Durga Soren. And whereas Hemant Soren doesn't want his grip on the party to go, that's why he has rather trying to convince his party MLAs and ministers to back Kalpana Soren. There is a leadership struggle. That is why you saw all this hide and seek yesterday. Why he had to go to Delhi, why he had to travel all the way back. There is a lot more to it. What has got to do, what is it that is happening? As far as, the opposition charge, there is political vendetta. This is an old charge. Everybody is saying it. All the oppositioners are saying it. And
but
as
is
you
it
said,
sticking? Do you think the next elections could well be fought on this?
No, but what is coming very clear is when it comes to corruption, these leaders are finding it very difficult to defend their record because public perception, whether in Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu or in Jharkhand,
Or in Bengal.
Because these are, the public perception does not support the opposition view that there is political vendetta.
It does not support that view also when wads of cash are found from some of the leaders or their known associates. And look at the recoveries that have been made in Jharkhand alone. IAS officers who have come under the dock. Dolly, I'm going to come to you. I also want to ask you this question. That today Raghav Chadha says, don't vote just to make someone win. Vote to ensure that democracy is saved in 2024. Effectively, I think he's saying don't worry about the party or the candidate. Just ensure you don't vote for BJP because BJP coming back to power means that there will be no democracy as the opposition's contention is. Mallikarjun Kharge said this yesterday. This could be our last chance to save democracy. But some critics would argue the Congress has fought the battle on this precise narrative in 2014 also, in 2019 also. In 2014, it was slightly different. It was the fear of Hindutva and Hindutva face, Narendra Modi coming to power. India as we know it will not remain. Idea of India will be dead. In 2019, it became about democracy again, dictatorship against Narendra Modi. Now 2024 is the same. Are you going to ask for votes in fear?
No, I would like to say that if Hemant Soren becomes Hemant Biswa Sarma, so you will not find water scam anywhere. There was a water scam on Hemant Biswa Sarma. He was posed. Now he's the CM of Assam. Now there's no case. Now nobody is discussing about Hemant Biswa Sarma's water scam. No ED is reaching Hemant Biswa Sarma. Nobody is going to his office. No CBI is reaching his office because he's the BJP chief minister. Very clear. Where is his case? Where is the case of that Maharashtra's deputy chief minister who was in the other party earlier and who Prime Minister was speaking in a big rally about him ki koi bhi choda nahi jayega, and where is he now? Now he has become a deputy chief minister of Maharashtra and no cases, now nobody's talking about his cases. No ED is reaching his office.
Okay.
No CBI is reaching his office. He is the deputy chief minister of Maharashtra and very much a part of BJP.
No, so BJP will have to answer that and BJP will have to explain to the public how they're going back on their words on corruption. That is the BJP's problem. Once again, I'll go across to BJP on that. But Dolly, I'm asking you about Congress and the opposition. You keep telling the public democracy is going to die. We've heard this before. And
Of
is
course,
this something?
the democracy
Are you essentially creating paranoia, hysteria, and driving people to fear to get votes?
No, we are telling the people of this country the truth. I've given you an example of Hemant Biswa Sarma. I've given you an example of Ajit Pawar from Maharashtra. I can give you names like they have switched to BJP and now all the cases went in vain. Ask them where is the water scam of Hemant Biswa Sarma? That is what I'm saying. If Hemant
Beyond
Soren becomes
the issue
Hemant
of
Biswa
corruption,
Sarma,
Dolly,
nobody will
beyond
reach his office.
1 second, beyond the issue
So
of
democracy
corruption.
is actually in danger, and all the ED and CBI is working as for the BJP, as for the center.
Okay, so that is why you're saying democracy is in danger. Yes, Anuja, please respond to those two clear points. One, I also said this. The level of the leaders of the BJP who may face odd charges here and there is not the same as chief ministers of states of other opposition parties. And some of the prominent names that join the BJP no longer have any heat on them. Those cases go in cold storage if they're not altogether rubbished. That is one thing the BJP must explain. This has happened over the last 10 years, multiple times. And secondly, under BJP, democracy is going to die, and to save democracy, collective India should vote for the collective opposition India alliance is what the pitch clearly is becoming now of the opposition. Both these points.
Okay, Shivani, I would just like to put forward things very clearly for all the viewers and to the panelists to listen. Now, the problem which Congress and the opposition are facing is that why BJP is not putting or saying something in front of the media, or they are talking in such a big loud voice.
My clear question is, tell me where are the cases of Ajit Pawar?
One by one. 1 second, let me just have Anuja. I have limited time. If I get into crosstalk, it will descend into crosstalk. Just me and Anuja. Me and Anuja, please. Anuja, please respond to that. Please respond to that direct question. Leaders who come to your party, Ajit Pawar being the most classic recent case, what happens to cases against them?
Ajit Pawar was not only the classic case for BJP, wasn't he? Was the classic case for the Congress also, or for the other parties also. When he was an LOP or when he was the opposition leader, at that time he was not corrupt.
But you're the party that stands against corruption. How have you compromised on Ajit Pawar?
When did BJP put any affidavit in the court? Why? You don't have any legal right. It's a legal right. You go to the court. You have Kapil Sibal now. Go to the court and talk about it. So don't you and cry out here and sitting and talking in front of the people and telling that we can't do anything. The BJP is not putting your foot in the mouth for you people. So you have a legal right. You find BJP corrupt. You find things corrupt. Let the people of India, let the people of Bharat also decide. 2014, 2019, you brought no confidence motion against Modi ji, right? Have you forgotten? In 2018, you brought no confidence motion against Modi ji. In 2023, what happened? In front of standing with BJP.
Okay.
Problem. The whole people were there. You went along with Arvind Kejriwal. Now Arvind Kejriwal is your papa. Everybody is with you. All the corrupt people are with you. Now you will not talk. All the corrupt people. The people who are sitting here. The Jawaharlal Nehru was not being elected. The Sonia Gandhi was not being elected. Rajiv Gandhi was not being elected. Indira Gandhi was not being elected. P.V. Narasimha was not being elected. Manmohan Singh was not being elected. Then telling me about democracy. Two people are on democracy.
Okay, one second. Let me take Professor D.K. Giri's. 1 second. Let me take Professor D.K. Giri's final comment on this as well. You know, this whole. Okay, we seem to have lost D.K. Giri, but I want to go across to Shekhar Iyer one more time. This whole thing about, you know, democracy is not functioning, democracy is not working. One, it brings back everything that has transpired under Congress governments of the past, state and central. So it's not a very great winning argument. Secondly, is it really something that the public feels that, you know, there is stifling atmosphere, they're not getting to do or behave as free citizens? Or is this heat by politicians? Why would the public care if the politicians are facing heat? It's the most fundamental question. Is the opposition not guilty of making the entire election about them and the cases they face versus what the public should need?
Absolutely, Shivaji. Public doesn't care. All this talk of political vendetta. They would say, let there be political vendetta. Get after the corrupt. See, the whole thing is, okay, tomorrow if there is opposition comes to power, say at the center at some time, let them get after the BJP ministers, BJP leaders who are corrupt. See, the problem is people have felt that adequate action have not been taken.
Yes.
There are many people who feel even this government at the center
hasn't done enough. In fact, there has been for very long time, Shekhar Iyer, an attitude in India that the high and mighty eventually, even if there is evidence against them for corruption, nothing is ever going to happen to them. And I agree with you. Has this government done enough to stand on its promise of anti-corruption crusade from 2014?
Exactly. This is what I hear. If you talk to the cross section of people, all that they say is, look, let there be action. Why do they get away? Why there is some kind of an understanding between the ruling and the opposition when it comes to corruption? Okay. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. That thing must end.
Yeah, and some people remain untouchable. That's really the message that people have had for too long. They don't really care about which politician suffers what heat anymore. Anyways, I have run out of time. We are going to shift to the other big battle that is playing out ahead of 2024. I do thank some of our guests for joining us. Some of them will continue. Ahead, the mayoral election results in Chandigarh coming out as a reality check for the India bloc because their joint candidate has lost against the BJP.
Co-powered by National Security at the Center of American Progress says she anticipates a response to the drone attack quite soon.
Iran has taken advantage, frankly, of the current moment of conflict to do what Iran has been doing for many, many years, which is to disrupt, to target the U.S. and partners in a variety of ways, mostly through the efforts of its proxy militias. So again, what Iran is doing is testing where that line is, how much it can get away with in targeting U.S. interests, whether those are military interests or economic interests, and really testing the U.S. in terms of its response.
U.S. troops have been attacked over 150 times in Iraq, Syria, and Jordan, as well as on warships in the Red Sea, where Houthi fighters in Yemen have been firing drones and missiles at them.
Well, good morning, everybody. Let me start with my outrage and sorrow for the death of 3 brave U.S. troops in Jordan and for the other troops who were wounded. The President and I will not tolerate attack on U.S. forces, and we will take all necessary actions to defend the U.S. and our troops. Now, at this important time, I'm glad to be back at the Pentagon. I feel good and am recovering well, but still recovering. And I appreciate all the good wishes that I've received thus far.
we will respond.
The White House on Monday said U.S. President Joe Biden was weighing his options after the drone attack in Jordan by Iran-backed militants that killed 3 U.S. service members and wounded dozens more. Here's White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby.
We do not seek another war. We do not seek to escalate. But we will absolutely do what is required to protect ourselves, to continue that mission, and to respond appropriately to these attacks.
Earlier in the day, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin spoke on the issue as well.
The President and I will not tolerate attack on U.S. forces, and we will take all necessary actions to defend the U.S. and our troops.
Later, Pentagon spokesperson Sabrina Singh identified the soldiers killed in Sunday's attack, the youngest victim just 23 years old.
The names of those soldiers who lost their lives were Sergeant William Rivers, Specialist Kennedy Sanders, and Specialist Breonna Moffett.
Welcome back. In what was billed as the first clash between NDA and INDIA bloc before the general elections and since Nitish Kumar's sensational switch, the BJP has managed to have the last laugh in the high-stakes Chandigarh mayoral polls. The BJP's Manoj Sonkar defeated the Aam Aadmi Party's Kuldeep Kumar. This was pitted as BJP candidate versus an alliance candidate of the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party in the very first contest between the newly formed opposition coalition and the NDA. As the results were announced, Aam Aadmi Party convener, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal accused the BJP of cheating and voiced his dissatisfaction with the process. Congress leader Pawan Bansal alleged that the 8 ballot papers that were rejected were done so in a premeditated manner. Ruckus in fact followed after Sonkar took the mayor's seat, and as protests broke out against the presiding authority, marshals had to be called in to control the situation. Now, the BJP's Sonkar was declared the mayor after he won this contest with 16 votes against 12 votes backed by the Congress AAP candidate Kuldeep Tita. 8 votes were declared invalid, which has led the opposition leaders to raise allegations of rigging. And if you look at that table, 8 votes were declared invalid out of 36 votes. And if the Congress and the AAP had got those votes, they would have had a tally of 20, which was well ahead of the 16 of the BJP and the Akali Dal combined, which is why they're raising a stink over these results. But why is this a setback for the larger India alliance? One, this is, as I said, maiden electoral test of the united opposition after the much rebranded and much touted India bloc. The opposition itself, particularly the Aam Aadmi Party, termed this as a semi-final before Lok Sabha polls. So they were guilty of building it up too much. And this defeat also shows that the opposition is very much in disarray. Clearly something has gone wrong, as it did last time around in the Chandigarh mayor elections. Either party members of the Congress and AAP have themselves scuttled this election, or something else has gone wrong. So whether this is a reality check for the India bloc is the question I take to our guests next.
ऑन कैमरे के सामने हुआ है, सब कुछ रिकॉर्ड आ रहा था, फिर हमें ब्लेम करने लगे क्योंकि हमें जीतता है देख ही नहीं पा रहे थे।
अगर इस प्रकार की गैर कानूनी असंवैधानिक घटनाएं को अंजाम दे सकती है, तो आप सोचिए कि लोकसभा चुनाव की हार देखते हुए ये लोग क्या करेंगे।
चंडीगढ़ मेयर इलेक्शन में भाजपा की जीत लोकतंत्र की जीत है और कांग्रेस और आपके ठगबंधन की हार है।
Shekhar Iyer, senior journalist, continues to be with us. I'm also joined by Dr. Dharinder Tayal, spokesperson of Punjab BJP, Vandana Sinha of the Aam Aadmi Party, and Arshpreet Singh Kardial of the Congress Party. I thank you all for your time. Vandana Sinha, let me begin with you. Your party has almost called it treason, what has happened today as far as the election process is concerned. I begin by asking you this question that, when the election process happens at a larger stage, let's say state or general elections, there's been a tendency of the opposition leaders to blame EVMs. Why should this charge that somehow the election process was not right and that is why your candidate lost be not taken in the same vein? Because it seems like there's a pattern that every time the opposition loses an election, they cry about the process.
First of all, I want to say Shivani, as we earlier said, because BJP, it shows the fear of BJP with the Indian Isles. Because since beginning, the election process was wrong. Because if you see, this is a question of the election of a mayor or who win or who lost. But the only thing, now this is the question of democracy of India. How the BJP is killing the democracy. Because the first of thing, the presiding officer, which was given by the BJP, he himself was a person of a BJP, and which is not constitutional. First of all.
But why, one second. Why did you not object to the presiding officer before votes were counted?
Because it was banned. It was banned by the BJP itself. You see.
No, but you were there, part of the election process. Everybody is heard when. There is a presiding officer, there are people overlooking the election. So if the presiding officer was the problem, why were the ballots even cast today? Why were the ballot box open today?
Even though it was objected, but it was a modus operandi of the BJP since beginning. First, when the election was declared, that time he got in. But with the direction of the court when it was started, even if we all know that as per the process, there was an agent from all the parties.
Yes.
And it was the duty of the presiding officer to show the ballot to all the agent of the parties. It was not shown. Though it was very much clear to I think the entire country has seen the entire thing. How the presiding officer has taken the ballot from itself and double marked and made it invalid and declared that the BJP vote.
Okay. Can I just bring in Dr. Tayal on this? This is a very serious allegation that both the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party have levelled on you. That there was direct connivance of the BJP, the way you rushed on to the seat, even before the process could be fully completed, everybody could have been satisfied. Those visuals are on the screen. How do you respond to this very serious charge that the presiding officer was favourable to the BJP and did not quite show these alleged invalid votes to the satisfaction of the opposition here?
Thank you, Shivani. I think the first thing which Vandana has said, that the presiding officer itself was unconstitutional because he was of the BJP. Now, that is a serious ignorance, I would say, on her part, because the manual says, the rule book says that the presiding officer has to be one from among the councillors of those who are not contesting, right? So, and in any case, he's a nominated councillor. So he was not contesting. To the court also, when it issued the directions, said Anil Masih would continue to be the presiding officer. So you are very right when you say that, why did you not object? They had gone to the court also said. Now, this is a very, this is something that is being done by Congress and AAP all the time. The question you raised, about the EVMs. So when the EVMs are there, the EVMs are bad. When they are not there, the ballot papers are bad. Interestingly, a few days back, Sam Petroda came online and said EVMs are bad, and Congress says he is the person behind the IT in India. And the man says that, okay, it has been such a long time, but we don't have time now to get into it. So it is always to somehow play the victim and then, blame the system. So
okay, but how do you respond? One second. How do you respond to the specific charge that those votes that have been declared invalid, that there is some conspiracy there? Because those 8 votes were make or break. The BJP and the Akali Dal, that is not your alliance partner but voted with you in this case, you didn't have the majority.
No, so, but I mean, the entire election process has been held most transparently. All of it is on camera. Right? So there is nothing which is not there. They've gone to the court has held a hearing for tomorrow. Right? It has been televised, it is all there. So if there is anything, we will know tomorrow. So what is what is there to talk about today?
Okay, Ashpreet.
Camera, the evidence is sealed, all of it is available. So we will know, but here is this, I'll tell you what the background of the whole story is. I think it is very important for the viewers to understand what is the background to the story.
Yes, very quickly, please. Yeah.
Yeah, the background to the story is that this whole thing was pitched up while India Alliance was still there. And then now the India Alliance is, RIP. So the situation is, original offer by the Congress to Aam Aadmi Party was, we will have the MP, you can have the mayor and the senior deputy mayor. So we will have the MP and the deputy mayor. Now, the MP was not agreed to. Now, if Aam Aadmi Party MP mayor becomes, then he becomes a serious challenger to the Congress MP, which they don't want. Hence, and since they don't have an alliance anywhere else, it was simple for all Congress people to invalidate their votes.
Ashpreet, that is something that, will be the natural assumption of a lot of people. This has happened before in such elections. It has happened in Chandigarh elections in the past, that party men, women don't always vote according to party lines. They either abstain to let a candidate win, or there are invalid votes. Why should, because of the situation of the India Alliance in Punjab particularly, because of the fact that AAP and Congress don't particularly see eye to eye when it comes to these alliances, why should anyone doubt that these votes would have been invalid? Could have been internal sabotage.
Thank you very much, Shivani, for the question. I'll answer all your questions. I just humbly request that I be given a minute and a half uninterrupted. One, India witnessed an attack on our democracy in broad daylight, and the Bharatiya Janata Party has clearly undermined our democracy, our law, the constitution, and the electoral process. Now let's look at the chain of events, Shivani. We had 20 votes in totality. The Bharatiya Janata Party had 15 votes in totality. First, on the 16th of January, the Municipal Corporation's secretary falls ill. Then on the 18th of January, the presiding officer falls ill. And the elections get delayed, they get postponed. Now, I'd like to ask the Bharatiya Janata Party this question, that if today the BJP spokesperson was ill, wasn't feeling good, then somebody else would have been sent. Shivani, if you were ill, some other anchor would have hosted the show. If I was ill, some other spokesperson from Congress would have come. But the date that was decided was the 6th of February. Now, this huge gap, this huge time duration, everybody knows it for a fact why so much time was bought. Number two.
Why? No, we don't know. No, one second. Don't assume we know. Please explain.
I'll answer, Shivani. I'll answer. There's a pattern. There's a history of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And I'll go to that as well. I'm coming to it, all of it. Number two, the Honorable High Court then had to intervene. Now, this goes on to suggest that something was wrong. Therefore, the High Court had to intervene. And the date was made 30th of January. The Honorable High Court had categorically directed that at 10, it begins. But the direction was undermined. It started after a delay of 30 minutes. Number two, the presiding officer, Mr. Anil Masih, has he not been the ex-president of the minority morcha of the Bharatiya Janata Party? And this is wrong to suggest that it hasn't been objected to. It's been objected in the court. It's been objected to.
But the courts didn't buy that argument.
One second. So what? If the courts did buy the argument that there shouldn't be this big of a delay, this big of a gap. Number two. Second,
you've already made 3 points. It's number 4 now. Please, you have to end after this.
Yeah. So the case has already been mentioned, and the case would be taken up tomorrow. I was there in the courtroom when this matter was taken up, and just one thing, Shivani, अगर ऐसे भारतीय जनता पार्टी जीत भी जाती है ना, तो डेमोक्रेसी में आप इसको जीत नहीं कहेंगे, आप लोकतंत्र की इसको हार कहेंगे.
Okay, Ashpreet, you made your points. I've given you 2.5 minutes. You've said what you wanted to say. You didn't answer my question. All of your points taken. 30 minutes delay. The date was initially too far off. Now it has been brought in. All of that is fine. how does that call into question the election that was held or the votes that were invalid? Given what is happening between the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress, it's very much likely your own people didn't vote for your candidate or invalidated their votes. That's what the BJP's charge is.
No, answering a question. How can Bharatiya Janata Party charge this? Was the Bharatiya Janata Party the presiding officer, or do they admit to the fact that they knew everything, whatever was taking place as far as the ballots were concerned, as far as the votes were concerned? The eyes and the ears of the Bharatiya Janata Party has been reporting to them. Either they say this, admit to this, or if they do not say this, how can they assume? How can they have these conjectures? I'll just say one thing.
No, it's not a conjecture. Once again, the votes were declared invalid. Your argument is that those were, your argument is that they were not invalid, they were valid votes and some partiality has been committed. They say, how do you know that they were valid? It goes both ways. Ultimately, obviously, the court will decide now.
No, there's an answer to that. Now, the invalid votes had to be shown to the agents of those parties, right? Yes. One, it wasn't shown, and this has also been mentioned in the court. Number two, there's a video that I want to show you of 5 seconds. Just see what has happened there. This is the presiding officer that has gotten up. There comes the mayor of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Just look at the way they have occupied the chair.
Yes.
And see, is this what our democracy is?
I asked this question to the BJP representative. The way things panned out, does that not call it into question? But ultimately, it is your word against the presiding officer's word and the BJP's word in this case. I want to go across to Shekhar Iyer on the larger question. You know, this was built up by the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress themselves as some sort of a semi-final. Not my words, but their words. And it seems like, you know, they've fallen flat. If I was to take this result on its face value, it cannot be discounted that there are troubles as far as the alliance partners are concerned.
Shivani, indeed, there is a lot of resistance within Aam Aadmi Party as well as within the Congress for an understanding with each other, both in Punjab, in Delhi, as well as in Chandigarh. So therefore, what has happened is, you know, those 8 votes getting invalid, whether their declaration of those votes invalid is an issue, or did some of the members, we have seen this in Haryana also in Rajya Sabha election.
Yes.
You know, in Haryana election, the pen was changed. Normally, you have to use the pen which the election commission provides, the chief electoral officer provides. Pen was changed and the Congress candidate lost. So, you know, there have been instances before where members of Congress party have, you know, sometimes show their displeasure with the so-called decisions taken by the leadership. This could be a similar case because this makes it very clear any understanding between the leadership of the Congress and Aam Aadmi Party without the support of the rank and file could create problems like this. So we do not know what has happened. Of course, now they say that once the election was over, the ballot papers were tampered with and things like that. Anyway, the matter is before the High Court.
The court now, yes.
So therefore, we will have to wait and see how the court looks at this whole episode.
Yeah, but in the meantime, there is a battle of perception also. Vandana, don't you think this has happened earlier also in these mayoral elections? You know, certain party members abstaining from vote, which means that the BJP candidate wins. It has happened in the past. So ultimately, the message, the perception that's going out is that actually not all is right as far as your house is concerned. The much touted India Bloc House, the much touted AAP Congress alliance, there's something wrong with that.
I must say, Shivani, it's not about it is about the perception of BJP itself. Because when the BJP feels that they are going to lose the election, they have the modus operandi of BJP. Either because it happened in the past also, whenever they feel like they are going to lose, they created hassle in the house itself. And today, entire India has seen what had happened in the today's election, how the votes have been tempered. Because everybody knows that like last elections only 1 vote was invalid. How it is possible that 8 votes were invalid in today's election? Because it was crystal clear. It was crystal clear. It was tempered by the BJP presiding officer, and definitely we are going to move the court, and court will decide what will be the real result of that.
Yes, and the sooner we can know, the better, because there shouldn't be too much gap or shadow hanging over such elections. It calls all processes under question. But Mr. Tayal, I do want to ask you, does it not sound strange that in a 36-strong vote, you've got 8 invalid votes?
No, so absolutely. I'll tell you why it is not strange. Because if it was out of, it was non-mana fide, it was non-intentional, yes, it would have been odd. But I have given you the logic. The idea is very clear.
But you've not seen those invalid votes. The opposition's charge is why were they not shown to everybody's satisfaction?
Shivani, that is exactly what I'm saying. So here, in fact, you said it has been, it has happened in the past that people may not have followed the party diktat. In fact, I am saying to the contrary, that Congress councillors actually followed the party diktat. They were told to tamper with their votes and not vote for AAP, because that is where their parliament election gets jeopardized, and they anyway don't have a alliance anywhere. So nothing was lost. So it was actually told to them to be done. Let me point out, give you another data point. Another data point is, it would have been so simple to go ahead with the senior deputy mayor and deputy mayor elections and prove it to the people that we are a united house. I walk out. Because you are a divided house, you only want to blame the system, you have no confidence in yourself, so you just walk out, and that is escapism. The things were transparent to an extent that even because you were talking about red pens and blue pens, that prior to the election, there was instruction, remove all other stationery. So there was no other stationery. So if there is any tinkering, it will come for tomorrow. So transparent.
Okay.
Why did they walk out? Let them answer why did they walk out.
Why did you walk out, Ashpreet? I've got a minute only. Why did you walk out, and do you have faith that eventually this, the court will do justice in this matter? Ashpreet, I think you're on mute. 30 seconds left.
Thank you, Shivani. Shivani, I think everybody knows it for a fact that the Bharatiya Janata Party has a certain modus operandi. It's either you give us votes or we will snatch it by hook or crook. Now, we have all seen Operation Lotus happen in so many states. We have all seen the misusage happening of the agencies, and we have seen what happened today as well, and the examples that I gave before. Now, the simple fact here is that 8 votes of India bloc, they get invalidated, but not 1 vote of the Bharatiya Janata Party gets invalidated.
I get that.
This is coincidence. Yeah. Number two.
I've run out of time. Unfortunately, I've run out of time.
If there was nothing wrong, they would have shown it to the agents. They would have shown it on the camera.
The counter question, if you had confidence, you would have continued as well. But let's wait and see where the court decides on this. I've run out of time, unfortunately. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. Another election which is continuing to be under shadow. Time for me to take your leave. The hard facts is coming up next.
Viewers, what a day it has been. One doesn't even know where to begin. I certainly know where to end, but I don't know where to begin, viewers. Should we begin in the Hindi heartland, or should we begin up north? Should we begin with Jharkhand, or should we begin with Punjab? The India bloc called it the semi-final before the 2024